Welcome back to 3 Generations Restoration. Sitting next to an Allis Chalmers UC that we picked up at the abandoned farmstead, along with the 2 McCormicks and the 1 Twin City. If you look right here, you saw this one. This is the W30 we picked up. But we're on to the next project to see if we can't get another one running. This will be number 2. Like I said, this is a UC. The engine turns over. The engine just turns over a little tough. We have no spark currently. It's got a Fairbanks and Morse. I think this is a J4, yep. So we've redone one of these on the channel before. So this should be familiar. We're also going to want to pull the valve cover off as usual. We want to make sure that none of the valves are stuck. That way we don't end up with a push rod like this. This is what you don't want. This will cause an engine not to run right. So we'll go ahead. We're going to have to pull the tank off, this hood off, a couple other things just to even get to the valve cover, which kind of sucks, but it's always good just to check. Otherwise you'll have bigger problems if you don't check. Another thing we got to do, we're going to have to drain the oil. I pulled the dipstick out. There's hardly anything in it, and just on the end of the stick is some goo. So we'll drain it out. But I think the first thing we're going to probably do, we're going to take the tank off. Tank and hood. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. Alright, so first thing we're going to want to do is I'm going to loosen these clamps here on both sides. This is a 9/16 and this is a 5/8. So I'm going to go ahead and get them off. So he's disconnecting the carburetor right from the sediment bowl. That way it makes it easier to pull this tank right off the tractor. Bone dry. Smell like bad gas? No, water. Alright, let's go ahead and take this tank off. Set it on the This gets us closer to the valve cover. The next thing we're going to want to do now is we're going to have to take off this bracket that holds the gas tank on, and I believe should be all set, just because I don't know if this will come up far enough to even get it out. I'll make it slide out. Alright, we're going to try taking the nuts out, and we're just going to try sliding it out first. Looks to be like another 5/8 5/8 nut. There's the final nut. Let's go ahead and see if the valve cover will come out. Look at that. Saved a lot of time by not having to take that bracket out. I'm going to go ahead and switch to a different thing, and we're going to show you if the valves are stuck. Alright, so we're under the valve cover. First glance, we just got some spider webs in here. We're gonna go ahead and I'll turn the engine over, and we're gonna see if any of these valves are stuck. Ready? Whoa.
stuck.
Okay, so I turned the engine over and my dad kind of watched all the valves. None of them are stuck. The only problem is this is real hard to turn over right now. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna change the oil because it was just goop and put some fresh in. I'm gonna take all the plugs out and we're gonna go out and spin it over. Hopefully get rid of some of the junk that's in the cylinders. And once it's freed up, we'll put the, I'll lube this up and then we'll check for spark and hopefully this thing will pop right off. So we're gonna go ahead, we'll change the oil now. All right, we got the oil drained out. It was pretty just soupy stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and put some new oil in. We got, take this off. And where's the dipstick? Right here. Put the dipstick in. Right there. All right, let's put some oil in this thing. Just gonna put a little diesel engine oil, 1540. She needed a nice little drinky drink. Fresh oil will help. Let's see if we're on the stick. We might need some more. Oh, we're on the stick. I think we're gonna need a little more oil. We're supposed to get to the line plus the filter, so we're gonna probably need another half a gallon at least. All right, so we're nice and full on engine oil. You can see we're right about to the line where it's supposed to be. This thing's got a redundancy method on it where you can check both oil here, or if you want to get frisky here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna check for spark. I did lubricate all the valves up here. They all are free, surprisingly. So what we're gonna do now is get our old trusty blue spark plug and see if we got spark. All right, so we got the cover off the mag, and right there are the points, and they're pretty dang crusty. So what we're gonna do is file them down, and since it's a J4 and this has a gear, we're gonna have to retime it. So we'll have to clean that up and go from there. All right, so we took the cap off here, made sure not to turn over the engine, because if you saw one of my recent videos, well, probably 6 months ago, we did one of these. So go ahead and turn it over.
Good.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We got spark now. We're gonna go ahead and hook our. I'm gonna put the valve cover back on, and then we're gonna hook up our little fuel tank. She'll start right up, I think. All right, moment of truth. We're taking her out. We got our little gas tank hooked up there. Grandpa's ready with a little ether in case it needs it. I think this thing will start right up. Not yet. I want to get straight because he can't hardly pull with that. All right, hold on. Ouch. I'm gonna give it a little choke.
Look at the gas dripping.
Yeah, just the line is leaking.
Oh, you give an ether down the stack when you keep turning, huh?
A little bit of choke.
I'll give it ether when it go.
Hold on. All right, we're gonna get this in third gear and give it a little bit of throttle. Try it. Stop. All right, so it looks like our tractor was backfiring outside. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna retime this. I'll put a link in the description for how to time one of these Fairbanks and Morse J4 magnetos, J4 B3. So we're gonna go ahead and time it. All right, so we're retimed. Firing orders 1, 3, 4, 2. We were pretty far off the first time. Let's see if it'll go. Pop her in third gear. He's gonna pull me a little bit. All right. Sounds definitely like it needs adjusted. We're gonna do a little adjustments now. All right, so you guys may see that we got our manifold off. Last video, or last little thing you saw was how the tractor was running. It was sputtering, spattering, whatever you want to call it. Just not running right at all. You know how we initially thought it was the timing and the mag. Well, we have guaranteed that the timing is correct. So, on a limb, I went on Facebook and put this tractor into a Facebook group, and they gave me some good advice to look at the manifold. So you guys can see that the manifold is off. I'm gonna spare you the footage. I honestly didn't get any. There was a lot of just, I would just say, brunt force work, a lot of torches, but I'll show you guys here in a second what we got. But carburetor's off, exhaust and intake are off and separated. It took 3 days in the span of working after work, but we got it off, and I think we have determined the problem. All right, so here is the exhaust and the intake manifold. This is the intake, this is the exhaust. Now, when I posted my little thing on Facebook asking for help to figure out why this tractor was not running right, a couple people commented to look at your intake. There is an intake tube on your exhaust manifold that tends to rot out. And lo and behold, there is definitely some rot in there. I mean, you guys can see a hole. There's a hole there. I mean, we're talking rotten. So the carburetor hooks to this flange and sucks fuel up through this hose here in the exhaust. Exhaust is pushing out here through this cast and then out through a 90-degree up the pipe. So the carburetor is essentially pulling exhaust gas and fuel at the same time into the engine, and I can guarantee that that's why this tractor's not running right. So we had a hell of a time getting some of this stuff apart. You can see some of the condition of these bolts. So we got these studs out. As you can see, those are shot. So we're gonna get new studs. I'm gonna have to get some gasket material to re-gasket this and this. And then for our fix, which I guess is also very common to do, is we're gonna take this piece of pipe and I'll show you. This actually, so we got this, I would say 1-inch diameter pipe here, and we were initially thinking some sort of a sleeve material like this, you know, stainless. But we found this pipe, and I mean, I'm not going to take the plastic off, but that slides right in there, and it feels pretty good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this pipe. We're going to obviously not use the threads. We're going to use the solid portion. We're going to cut this to size, slip it in, and use some sort of like an epoxy JB Weld mix to keep it in. And then we're going to epoxy JB Weld these holes here to keep it from moving. And I think that our intake should be perfect. I'm going to order some high temp gasket material so I can remake these gaskets like I was saying earlier. And then the other gaskets we're going to be able to buy from Olson's Gaskets, like we bought them for some of our other tractors, like the 2-ton, the unstyled John Deere A. So they're a pretty good company. They supply us with a lot of gaskets that you would think are unavailable, but this is definitely our problem. So hopefully we can get this fixed, get it on the tractor, and get the thing running. But for now, she's going to sit. Going to be a few days till we get some parts, some gaskets. So we'll keep you guys in the loop. But yeah, at least we found our problem finally. All right, so we're here a day later. We epoxied this little crack here after fixing that. Our sleeve is installed. We used a little bit of JB Weld, as you can see in there, but there's the sleeve. Pretty good job it did on both sides. We're gonna clean it up some more, and then we're gonna reassemble this manifold. There is no video whatsoever on these manifolds on YouTube, so this will be a first on YouTube, assembling a UC manifold. So we're waiting for gaskets, but once the gaskets get here, we will show you how it's done. All right, so we are finally got some parts for our UC manifold. Sitting up here, my dad custom made this gasket and this gasket, and then we ordered this set from Olson's Gaskets, and they sent us a 1 foot by 2 foot sheet of high temp gasket material for exhaust manifolds and such. That's what we made all this out of. You can kind of see, here's what the material is. You can see the sleeve. The sleeve is perfectly set in there, and we put some JB Weld just in here for good measure, even though it probably didn't need it. So we got this gasket on right now just because it would have been a pain to show you guys. We're gonna set the top intake onto here, and then once we get that on, we're gonna bolt it down, and then we are gonna install this gasket. So right now we're pretty much just assembling the whole exhaust manifold. So we're going to start with the top, and then we're going to work our way to the side, and who knows, maybe we'll install it today. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so like I said, this gasket's down. What I'm using is Ultra Copper Gasket Maker exhaust, or especially for exhaust manifolds. So I'm going to apply a little bit to the top here of the intake that meshes to the exhaust manifold. This whole Allis Chalmers UC manifold is kind of a goofy design. I don't know why they would run the whole intake tube through the exhaust manifold, but that's what they did back in the day. So these manifolds are not to be found anywhere, so that's the reason why we're rebuilding it. So we'll get this smeared on here, and then we'll put it on the intake. We're going to go ahead and set the intake back on to the exhaust manifold. Just like that. Just drawing everything together down there, which is what we want. All right, so we got the top intake smushed on. Had to use kind of what we had at the shop. Bolt here, or a nut here, a nut here. Two of the old nuts were cracked, as you can see there, so they weren't helping the cause. So next step is to put this on. This gasket's gonna go here. We're gonna smudge some stuff on again, and then this part here will stick right here, and then we'll just do a kind of dry run, and then the elbow will go just like that. We got new bolts, and we should be good to go for getting this manifold together. So let's go ahead and assemble this part now. We're currently prepping the cylinder head for install now. All right, we are ready for the exhaust manifold, inlet intake manifold, to be installed back onto the machine. First. What I'm gonna do is put some more of that gasket maker. I'm gonna put all the gaskets on here, and then we're gonna put the manifold on and go from there. All right, so we got our Olson's gasket set here. Pretty expensive set, but gotta have it. These would be very hard to make, and it looks like they press make them. So we'll go ahead and stick these on, and I put a little goo all over, that way I didn't realize I needed just a little bit, but it'll work. And this helps with putting the manifold on. And then we got our big one, which goes like this. Helps to have the goo help line everything up. So, all right, get the manifold now, and we should be able to slide it on. Okay. Here we go. Let's see what I'm doing. All right, so right now I'm just tentatively snugging these down because I want to make sure that the gaskets are all in the correct spot before I really snug it down. So and then I don't know if I remember if I showed this, but these little locks, one goes here that way, and then in here there's another one that goes to each manifold. It kind of just compresses it down, so that's snug. All right, so manifold is back on. I think what we'll do is we're gonna leave the canister for the air breather off just for now. We're gonna install the carburetor back on now. All right, we're going and trying to start it. Here we go. Not going fast enough. Huh? He's not going fast enough.
Gotta go faster, he said.
Yes.
Ain't no gas here, yeah.
I wonder if it's even getting gas like that. Yeah, take the choke off. It's on, right? The choke was on?
Yeah.
No, hey! Keep going. The choke was fully on. All right, well, we kind of got a sad ending to this video. I thought that we would be able to start this thing, but not in this video, not for a while. We pretty much determined that we've fixed the manifold. It's sucking pretty good at the carburetor now. Getting fuel up to the cylinders, and it's popping every now and then, but it's not running like it should. We got everything timed correctly here. Firing order is 1, 2, 4, 3. But when we take off the plugs, you can just see that it's just soaking wet on top of the pistons, like on each one. And it's not gas. I stuck my pinky in there, just barely got in, and it's straight oil, engine oil. So our theory is that we're kind of getting fire here and there, but I think that the spark plugs are getting flooded out by oil, which is, you know, will stop a spark plug from firing. So the next step would be to put rings in this thing. Set of rings, I think, is about $500. That's not the main concern. The main concern is all the work to get to the rings. You gotta, number one, split the tractor. Number two, you gotta split the front end off just so you can get to the oil pan. Then you drop the oil pan and the pistons should come out. Unless we're able to take off this plate here and maybe get to them, which I doubt. I think we have to take the oil pan off. So what we're doing now, I put it all back together, tightened it up. We're gonna let it sit outside for a while. We got other things we got going on that are more important than this. And I'm also thinking about putting it up for sale, seeing if somebody wants a project. And if they do, they can take it for a different price than what we were thinking. But it can sit for now. Like I said, we might get to it eventually, but we got so many other tractors going on right now that this can just sit on the back burner. So like I said, sometimes episodes will be like this. Not really a success today, but a failure. But you never know, the UC may come back and you may see another video on it, but we'll see. But thank you guys for watching. If you got any tips or anything too on these UCs, just let me know in the comments. See if got any tips to help me out, possibly get this thing running better. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.